Welcome to Catholic News World.
Welcome to Catholic News World. Please subscribe to our channel. My name is Steph. Here are this week's breaking news headlines.
A priest was lured by a call to minister to the sick at night and was killed. The priest of Cameroon, Africa, Father Olivier Nzaibode, was found dead in Obala. He was lured out of his house at night by men asking him to come and minister to a sick family member. Father Olivier Nzaibode, a priest in the Liki region of Cameroon, was found dead. According to local press reports, he was murdered in the night between the 28th of February and the 1st of March, after being lured out of his house by men claiming that a relative of theirs was sick and wanted to see him. Cameroonian news website, 237 Online, said that Father Abode was a respected figure in the community, known for his commitment to peace and social justice. Instability is on the rise in Cameroon, parts of which are suffering from conflict between government forces and separatists. Around 800,000 people are estimated to have been displaced, and at least 6,000 killed. We have learned with grief the heinous murder in Obala of Father Olivier Nzaibode, a priest of a separate Christian community, said the Catholic Bishop of Obala, Sostin Leopold Bayami Mathieu, in his message of condolence to Cameroon's Gallican Catholic Church. This brother in humanity is not a priest of the Diocese of Obala, nor of the Roman Catholic Church, said Bishop Mathieu, while at the same time strongly condemning the murder. He called on authorities to bring to justice the killers of Father Olivier. A United Nations group has accused Nicaragua of crimes against humanity and calls for release of Bishop Rolando Alvarez and others. A United Nations human rights group released a report detailing abuses committed by the government of Daniel Ortega against dissidents of the regime. The group said the government of Nicaragua's President Daniel Ortega executed at least 40 people and ordered hospitals not to treat demonstrators wounded in anti-government protests. In a report released this week, the experts listed abuses that they say constitute crimes against humanity. It explained that the violent crackdown began with the jailing of opponents and the outlawing of civic groups following the 2018 anti-government protests. President Ortega claimed those protests were part of a foreign orchestrated plot to oust him. The report also condemned Ortega's government for removing 222 political prisoners of their nationality, after they were loaded aboard a plane and flown to the United States last month. The independent group's findings come in the wake of a series of actions taken by Ortega against the Catholic Church. These include a 26-year jail sentence for Bishop Rolando Alvarez of Matagalpa, who was falsely accused of conspiracy and false news, and an order to strip Bishop Baez of Managua, now residing in the USA, of his citizenship. The government of Ortega also expelled the Vatican's Apostolic Nuncio to Nicaragua. The Missionaries of Charity, founded by Saint Mother Teresa, were forced to leave the country. In early March of 2023, the government also dissolved the John Paul II Catholic University, the Catholic aid organization Caritas, which helped the poor, and 26 other non-governmental organizations. There have been over 3,300 organizations of this type dissolved after the popular protests that broke out in April 2018. A number of priests, a deacon and 2 seminarians have also been condemned to 10 years imprisonment on charges of conspiring against the government. In the past few days, the government has also banned the celebration of traditional public processions of the Way of the Cross during the Lenten season and Easter. According to the report, Ortega's government engaged in extrajudicial executions, arbitrary detentions, torture, and other cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment. The report found that between 70 and 80% of the deaths of demonstrators were caused by firearms, and revealed that police and doctors demanded that relatives sign documents renouncing their rights to an autopsy of the victims' bodies or to file criminal complaints in the deaths. The UN release said those implicated in the killings include Ortega's Frente Sandinista Party, its youth group, government employees, former members of the military, and even street gang members recruited by people linked to high-ranking officials. In a recent interview with Infobi, Pope Francis commented on the situation in Nicaragua. He said, "This is something that is not in line with what we are experiencing. It is like bringing the communist dictatorship of 17 or Hitler's dictatorship of 35, here. They are sort of crude dictatorships." Police arrest woman again for silent prayer in the United Kingdom as the government outlaws prayer near clinics. Isabel von Spruce has been arrested for the second time for the offense of silently praying in her head within an abortion facility censorship zone or buffer zone. Police accuse Isabel von Spruce, "You've said you've been engaging in prayer, which is the offense." Bail conditions have been imposed on von Spruce, prohibiting her from attending an area within the vicinity of the abortion facility which extends beyond the censorial buffer zone. The arrest, which was attended by 6 police officers, comes only weeks after the charitable volunteer was found not guilty by Birmingham Magistrates Court. She had been criminally charged on the basis that her silent, imperceptible prayers amounted to intimidation. The prosecution were not able to present any evidence to the court to substantiate the thought crime, and Isabel's name was cleared. Isabel said, "Only 3 weeks ago, it was made clear by the court that my silent prayers were not a crime. And yet, again, I have been arrested and treated as a criminal for having the exact same thoughts in my head, in the same location." The ambiguity of laws that limit free expression and thought, even in peaceful, consensual conversation or in silent, internal prayer, leads to abject confusion, to the detriment of important fundamental rights. Nobody should be criminalized for their thoughts. Von Spruce has volunteered to support women in crisis pregnancies for 20 years. In February, she was cleared of criminal charges for violating a Public Spaces Protection Order, PSPO, which enforces a censorship zone around the abortion facility on Station Road, Birmingham. ADF UK, the legal organization which protects fundamental freedoms and has campaigned against censorship zones, supported von Spruce's court victory in February. They have committed to standing up for her freedom of thought. Members of Parliament have just approved the introduction of censorship zones, also known as buffer zones, outside of abortion facilities across England and Wales. Clause 10, formerly Clause 9, of the Public Order Bill will criminalize any form of influence outside of abortion facilities, including in the form of silent prayer. An amendment to permit silent prayer and consensual conversations within the censorship zones was proposed by Andrew Luer MP, but failed to pass after a vote of 116 to 299. Today's vote marks a watershed moment for fundamental rights and freedoms in our country. Parliament had an opportunity to reject the criminalization of free thought, which is an absolute right, and embrace individual liberty for all. Instead, Parliament chose to endorse censorship and criminalize peaceful activities such as silent prayer and consensual conversation, said Jeremiah Igunubol, legal counsel for ADF UK, the legal organization working to promote fundamental freedoms. A Catholic monk once kidnapped by ISIS is ordained as new Archbishop of Homs, Syria. Congratulations to Archbishop Jacques Murad. The new Syrian Catholic Archbishop of Homs, Jacques Murad, age 54, was ordained bishop on Friday, March 3, in the Cathedral of the central Syrian city of Homs. Murad also became internationally known in 2015 when ISIS, Islamic State, terrorists kidnapped him from his Mar Elian monastery in Syria and held him hostage for several months. Pope Francis also campaigned for his release at the time. Murad recorded his experiences in the book A Monk in Hostage. In it he describes, among other things, how a commander of the Islamists visited him to discuss his faith with him. At the beginning of January, Pope Francis confirmed the monk's election as bishop by the Synod of the Patriarchal Church of Antioch. The consecration service was attended by the Syrian Catholic Patriarch Ignace Yusuf III. Yunan, the papal nuncio in Damascus, Cardinal Mario Zinari, the Greek Catholic Melkite Patriarch Yosef Absi, the Syrian Orthodox Patriarch Mar Ignatios Afram II and dozens of bishops, according to Fides Press. The presence of numerous believers from Lebanon, Iraq, France, Germany, Italy and all parts of Syria, including many relatives and friends, testified to the great charity of the new Archbishop. In the speeches at the consecration, Archbishop Murad's special humility and selflessness was emphasized. At the service, Bishop Flavian Rami al-Kabalan, procurator of the Syrian Patriarchate of Antioch at the Holy See, addressed the current situation in the region. "Our hope is in the Lord, who is alive and heals our wounds, wipes our tears and comforts our hearts," he said.
Watch our programme every Friday at 7:30 p.m. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to Catholic News World channel. God bless.
Please subscribe to Catholic News World's YouTube channel. Thanks and God bless.